Fear and greed run through the wire. Candles climb and then expire. Our edges cut from the profile, sharp and clean by every buyer. He conquers the markets, he turns water into wine. His timing flows where chaos turns divine. Cut sharp enough to time the sign. Yeah, this man's no common trader. He commands the market's numbers. We call him Chef Bailey. The market bends beneath his flame. Fear and greed run through the wire. Candles climb and then expire. Our edges cut from the profile, sharp and clean by every buyer. Markets move, they twist and swing. Every tick can burn or bring. Ryan keeps calm, he trusts his thing. The charts tell him everything. But when T1 makes ding, 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 the futures spread their hidden wing. And he is ready for anything. Vic's still looking like a restless king.
Ready to stop guessing and start growing as a trader. Welcome to Vici Trading Solutions, a community built by real traders for serious learners. We don't just post trades, we teach the why behind every move. With a full education section and daily breakdowns, you'll start seeing the market like a pro. You won't be trading alone. Inside the Vici Discord, you're surrounded by committed traders, from futures pros to rising crypto specialists, all learning and winning together. Gain first access to our exclusive indicators, powerful tools used daily by hundreds across TradingView and beyond. These aren't gimmicks, they're built to sharpen your edge. Each morning, our founder posts a full trading plan for the S&P 500 or NASDAQ and calls out the levels he's watching live. No fluff, just clarity. Education, tools, community. Whether you trade futures, stock, or crypto, Vici gives you the foundation and firepower to grow. Join Vici, trade smarter, conquer the markets.
And we're back. Welcome. I'm fresh off a holiday vacation. Man, let me tell you what. I know I wore this hat last night for the weekend review, but I am still very much in vacation mode. Man, Monday was quite difficult coming in here. Went to Epic Universe with my son, and let me tell you, it was epic. It was epic. I will say this. If you are fortunate enough to go down there, you definitely got to go, even for adults. I thought it was great. I've been to Universal Studios before. We've been to Islands of Adventure. Epic Universe was awesome. They spent $7.7 billion in this place, and it showed. I mean, it was so cool. The Harry Potter world was awesome. It was very immersive. I don't even like Harry Potter, but the world was awesome. And Mario Land was cool. It was just the way that they build everything was fantastic. So I was still kind of in vacation mode today myself. I traded till noon and then kind of kicked back and took care of a few other personal things here business-wise. And so here we are with the post-market breakdown to go over exactly what happened today. And let me tell you what, if you watch the post-market, or if you watch the weekend review, we called the long. We said, this looks like a very great opportunity to get long because we were still starting to traverse higher. As you guys know, I mentioned last week on that massive squeeze up we gained on the daily and on the 4-hour time frame, which immediately led us to believe that we were going to continue to traverse higher until proven otherwise, which today was just unbelievable. I mean, super squeezy day. It was just absolutely unreal. I expected most of the move to happen before noon, and it looked like most of it happened after 12, which was pretty unbelievable. So we're going to go ahead and get into it all. It's obviously, these are really hard days to trade. I mean, we pushed up well over 100, and it looks like almost 130% 30, 40 points, something like that from the overnight lows. And they really never pulled back today. So it made it for a very, very difficult time to really get on the trade. What's up, Kay? Good to see you, buddy. That's my man right there. Brand new addition to the team here. Kay took the plunge, invested in himself, and now he's going to go deep dive on the course, and I can't wait to see him kill it. He's absolutely going to slay it. He is an Inner Circle member, and the guy is a monster. So I'm happy to have you here. I'm glad you're here, my friend. Catch me if you can. Good to see you. And I'm just going to call you Sack. I don't know. I spoke to you briefly on the first guy who joined. I spoke to him briefly on the DM. So I'm glad you're here. But guys, again, I'm going to go over a few things. And really, we're going to discuss a little bit of the trade plan. But really, we're going to we're going to look forward into tomorrow. These type of days are really difficult. Okay. This is a super squeezy day. We didn't have one pullback, not one. I mean, you could have got long last night and just stayed long, and you would have never really gotten stopped out. I mean, as long as you didn't trail too close, it was just a straight shot today, which is pretty unbelievable. So crazy stuff. So let's go ahead and get right into it. First and foremost, as you guys know, the first thing we always have to do, or you should do, is follow me across all these socials. Like, retweet, all that good stuff. Let people know what we're looking at here. Let them know what you're looking at. I try to put out the hits for you guys here. I do not do shit posting. Anything that I put out is pretty much quality stuff, which is why I don't have tens of thousands of followers, because I actually post real shit. I know it's crazy, right? So unbelievable. But the stuff that I put out is quality, which I'm going to show you here very soon. So make sure you follow me across X, YouTube, Substack, and TradingView. Always coming out with good stuff there. And, the Substack's been a hit lately. I'm going to show you guys something that we've been, that I've put out. And I think a lot of people took advantage of this, as far as I can tell, or I hope that they did. It had a ton of views, which was really exciting. Hopefully everybody was able to take advantage. And we'll just go ahead and start off right into it here. So this was a post that I put out over the weekend. While I was on vacation, I was getting alerts that Snowflake, which is a stock that I have been watching for quite some time, just hit a 52-week low. And I know you're probably thinking, Ryan, what the fuck does this guy do with the S&P? You know what? Just let me do my thing, okay? It was a slow day in the S&P, so I'm filling time here, okay? Plus, I got to brag a little bit about this setup, right? So check this out. So this was first off, let me tell you why I've had my eye on Snowflake for some time. So my better half, my lady, is a corporate woman, and she has worked in Fortune 500 companies since the day I've met her. She worked at Kimberly-Clark, Discover Card. Now she works at IDEX, all massive Fortune 500 companies. And, she's a little bit higher up the ladder. And so I get to hear some interesting things about what they do internally. And she's been in IT, et cetera, whatever you want to call it. Right. And so, she's telling me about the services they use. And I'm always, looking into the products that they use, because, their company spends, tens of billions of dollars on all this stuff. They sign these outrageous contracts, and they're not the only ones, right? Fortune 500 companies tend to, it seems to me like they overpay for everything, but who knows? And so I'm always interested in understanding the products they're using. Well, Snowflake is one of the products that they use heavily, and they are heavily integrated into this product to the point where they cannot. Why is this thing going back and forth? Hang on. Oh, I'm sorry that this thing is kind of vibrating in and out. I don't know why it's doing that. My apologies. I don't know how to fix it either. So you're just going to live with it. My apologies. All right. So anyways, Snowflake is a data center, basically, and they have gotten just absolutely caught up in this SAS sell-off, or SaaS sell-off, this software as a service sell-off, it's been a broader market sell-off that really has a lot to do with Claude and Anthropic and their new models, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not really sure how this thing got wrangled in there, because they do have some software as a service, but their main thing is they are a data warehouse. So they essentially provide what I call a data lake, which is essentially where companies plug in their data, they house their data, they have these big pools of data that they pay tens of millions of dollars to house it there. And then everything plugs into it, and it's a pay-per-use ordeal. So as they continue to grow as a company, and as their data continues to grow, so does their usage, and so does their bill. Right. And so I've been watching this thing go, and this is like, these guys are very much in competition with Amazon web, hosting and all this other stuff. Right. This is that kind of service. Well, I've been looking at this for quite some time, and this thing is like way down there in price. Right. And so every time this thing comes down into a particular area, it seems like it gets a nice little reaction here. I'm just going to go ahead and show you. So over the course of 3 or 4 years, whenever we get into like the 120s, this thing gets a pretty nice pop, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that this broader market sell-off was pretty ridiculous. This was a 25% down week that they had just last week. And I'm looking at this thing like this is a little too much. And so, I put a post out to everybody that's basically said, hey, listen, I'm buying this at the lows at $121. I think this is deep value. It's down 57% from the all-time high. And we actually swept the low on Friday, and we actually closed above the weekly, which gave me really strong vibes on this stock, okay? And then ultimately today we rallied 11%. So I actually love the sweep down there that you can see here. Let me just show you what this looks like on a 1 hour. Look at this thing. Absolutely super powerful. We sat here all morning and we did not take off really until the bell, which is pretty wild. So it had plenty of time to get in this and just confirm. As you can see, this white level is that swing low, and then this is the weekly, and we basically hovered right above it and then launched. So I think this is going to be a great trade for everybody. This is a long-term hold for me. Good stuff. Super good stuff. So hopefully everybody was able to take advantage of this. This was a fun one, as you guys know. I don't call out too many single stock stuff, guys. So if I'm calling this out, I must be looking at it. As you know, I try to stick with S&P for the most part. So, all right. So now let's go ahead and get into the ordeal, right? So the S&P 500, here's the trade plan from the weekend review. This is the real deal here. We had the 68.57 monthly retest. Okay, you guys know this level. We've talked about this level 100 times. This thing has been in the way for some time. And then, of course, we had the 68.06 progression pivot, which we'll talk about here real soon. This was what we were looking for to get above, to get our squeeze today. And it happened most definitely. And then, of course, we had the prime buy zone, which we didn't get into. So first and foremost, guys, and those of you who've been following along with me for some time, you guys know I'm a big fan of Bitcoin. And one thing that I noticed for sure about Bitcoin is if you don't know what's going to happen with the futures on Sunday, look at Bitcoin. You can clearly see I posted this in Bitcoin. Hey, we're down 2.5%. It's a big tell for Sunday's S&P futures open, right? So we kind of figured that the market would gap down, and I put in a post for Bitcoin saying that, we're down 2%, which is a precursor, right? So with that being said, we actually fell into some really good support, and it could present a really nice buying opportunity here. And we are still very much traversing this area, and it really could go higher from here. So that was one of the things that I put out in the trade plan, in the video, the weekend review in the video, that I thought this was presenting a really nice buying opportunity. I didn't expect it to squeeze like it did today, but good Lord, did it ever, right? And so here was the other interesting thing. I want to talk about the triple distribution, which is the 68 and the 68.57 retest. That's bringing it all the way back to the monthly, okay, guys? Important stuff here. So we had the triple distribution, which I'm going to show you what that means. Some of you may or may not know. This is a very rare occurrence and really kind of sets up a squeeze pattern, right? And so we'll get into that more. Usually we see a double distribution, which is the double humps. So it's like got a hump here and a hump here. It looks like a big B and a space in between. Well, this actually set up triple distribution, which was pretty wild, which I'll show you here soon. And again, like I said, it kind of set up a squeeze to push back into that area. So, the real question was, and it really had to do with the 58.27, is do we push above the 58.27 and continue to trend to the upside? Or is this a retest for a move back lower, right? Because technically the leg up is tested. And what I meant by this, and if you watch the video, the 68.57 was tested last week. So, they had every right to be able to push through. If it was untested, I would have been like, But, hey, it was tested. And so I had a strong feeling that we were going to push higher, which is why I led you guys to believe the same thing and why we also pointed that way in the Discord this morning, as well as a few other things here that I'm going to show you, like VIX being our big tiebreaker, right? So from a daily structure perspective, we had the main leg down with the sub legs that we were above all those, and we had been walking up. We reclaimed the dailies one by one. So as long as we were getting back above the shoulder, right, which I'll soon show you, and that was at 67.72, and the dailies at 99.75, we're walking up, right? And actually, I'm just going to go ahead and pull this down just so you can see. This is exactly what I was talking about at the time of the writing, and I showed this in the video. If you guys want to see this in real time, go back and take a look. This was our 72 daily that we basically fell down last night and played at the gap down. And then we started to get back above 87 and then back above 67.99. This was our big leg down right here, guys. And so being above 67.99 was extremely bullish for us last night. And as you guys know, I was long last night as well. Unfortunately, I didn't hold it for as long as I should have. And you know what's funny is I knew too, where I was like, I'm like, do you really want to take this target? Yeah, but what are you going to do? So first day back from vacation, what am I going to say? But anyway, so we did our thing and the trade plan was spot on for everybody. And so that we continued to push higher. Okay, so that is where these areas came from. And obviously this is our next big tested spot, which we have just absolutely cleared. So we're going to talk about that here shortly once we get through the rest of this. All right. So as you can see right here, we have a strong possibility of at least filling the gap from Friday. Right. So as you guys know, that is absolutely what happened. And do I want to talk about the final thoughts now? Actually, let's go ahead and just look at this real quick. I want to show you this. So this is the triple distribution, right? So check this out. So this is 1 hump, 2 humps, and 3 humps. So this was just incredible. You barely see things like this, guys. This is very rare. Okay. This just means, they have just been squeezing super high. As you guys know, this was all news-based material here. And when we actually gapped lower, we were all the way down here, 67, 72, or 74, whatever it was. And they ended up squeezing all the way higher. And I made it known that as long as we were going to get above this 16 area, then we would more than likely fill this spot in. This was a big area of inefficiency that needed to be filled. And both of these areas were very important. Well, as you guys know, this is 68.57.25. This was the spot that we basically magneted right to, right? They came right to it. And as you can see, we have some overlapping blocks here, which means we spent quite a bit of time here going back and forth, which is exactly what happened. Also, just to show you from an ETH perspective last night, look how we fell back last night. Look at this low that we played, 67.74. Looks like it went to about 72, but whatever. And anyways, they basically played this as our big top-down daily leg support and really just blasted off, which is also the 50-day moving average. I actually did not catch that until right this second. Didn't even see it. So anyways, we're cruising, guys. We're going higher. And you know what I just noticed today, looking at the price, we kind of finished up here around 69.27. We are really close to going back into positive gamma territory again. And if that happens, it's going to be so slow again. I hate that. I hate positive gamma. It's no fun. No fun. So anyways, that I just wanted to show you what the triple distribution looked like, how we talked about this getting filled in, and the support that was played last night that essentially led to our massive push higher. So with that being said, let's go ahead and go over into this right here. So our final thoughts, if we come into the week, is very clear, right? We're sitting at the most important level at the board. That was the monthly at 68.57.25. Above this, the bullish structure from last week is intact, and we continue to push higher. Well, I think we know what happened there, and we're going to look at the smaller time frame here shortly. So here you go. The encouraging sign is that we already played the support tonight at 72, and we're starting to push back up. As I write this, price is already near 06. Well, as you guys remember, I said as long as we're above these dailies, we're good. Well, the daily was 99, right? And I'm going to get in to show you what 06 here is real soon. I might have to pull that up. I don't know if I actually took a picture, but I'll show you. And where are we at? Yep. And so the daily structure walks-up remains intact and getting above these dailies. My bias is we have a strong possibility of at least filling the gap from Friday, but it's really going to come down to that main level, right? So use the 68.06, tested 4-hour as your progression pivot, and VIX, right? So let me show you what I mean by that. So here you go. Here's VIX. Now, guys, you guys know we talked about this, and I even talked about how, hey, more than likely we're going to gap up in VIX, right here. However, with the gap down tonight, we will more than likely gap up on VIX. The 2078 weekly and the 2104 daily are going to be our big tiebreaker. This is our line in the sand, guys. And as long as they stay suppressed underneath the 2078 weekly, they have a strong possibility of coming down. Well, as you can see, they even opened here, back tested the 2078 and fell, which is exactly how our scenario described this. And this is, the 2078 is our big barometer for the week. Below this is suppressed. Above it is a headwind. And right now we are certainly coming down quite considerably here. And again, this is something that, Kay, you should pay attention to this. This is something that happens every week. You've probably heard me say this a few times. A lot of times there is fear going into Friday. A lot of big time position holders, and I know this because we used to do this at the firm all the time. They used to buy a certain number of VIX certain number of VIX calls to offset their overnight risk or their over the weekend risk, just in case of an event, right? A market, a black swan event, whatever you want to call it. It's more of just a hedge play. It's cheap insurance. Okay. So what we have a lot of times on a Sunday, especially when we have a gap up like that, is not always, but for the most part, and you'll notice it's been pretty common, we have a gap up on a Sunday and then they sell it back. Okay. And as you can see, that's exactly what happened. This was Friday. This was Monday, Sunday, Monday, whatever. And then they sold it back throughout the day. Pretty standard, typical stuff. I mean, you're going to see this repeatedly throughout your career as you continue to trade the indices and VIX. This is just something that institutions do. It is just how it works. It's gapped up from all Friday's buying, and then they sell it back off because then they realize, okay, here comes Monday. Everything's cool. Let's get out of this. And then it dumps. And so that's what's up. What's up, Raju? There he is. All right. So there's that. All right. So now we've talked about that. What else we got? Oh, is that it? Am I out of pictures here? I might be out of pictures. All right. So check this out. So let's talk about this 06. I'm going to go ahead and hide all this. Now, this is because of where we're at, we just have a lot of structure to deal with. And I started drawing lines here to kind of figure out what we were going to play. Let me go ahead and get rid of this stuff just so to clean things up to show you. So check this out. So this is our big 06 that I talked about from over here. This is our big main 4-hour leg down. So as you can see, we held the 72.69, came up. We had this 67.95, but the one that I was really obsessed with was this 06 because this was the main up or down. As you can see, the moment they closed back above it, they back tested a few times and we continued to reclaim. And also the big one, the big target that we were looking at, the big target that was actually in our plan. I said, if they reclaim this, the area that we need to be looking for is 68.34. This actually got super duper close right before the market opened, pulled back. But as you can see, the moment they got above it, we just absolutely launched. And so, we're going to talk about this area over here shortly. So what I wanted to show you was the areas that we were talking about for the reclaim, which gave me the confidence to assume that we were going to continue to push higher. Obviously didn't expect this massive push in the afternoon session, but it is what it is, right? So we're cruising. That's what's up. So this is how this game is played, ladies and gentlemen. So check this out. So now let's talk about what we think could potentially happen. Okay. So right now we are definitely pointed up. Okay, there's no question about it. Now, keep in mind one thing. We have not gained on the weekly time frame, but that's okay. We've gained on the daily. We've gained on the 4-hour. I'll be honest. I thought this market was going to come down a little farther. Obviously, the geopolitical stuff is always, a kick in the pants, and so we don't really know. But we have one major area, guys. Right now, there's a lot of, this thing is just a couple points off of all-time highs, okay? So we only have one, count it, one untested area of resistance. And that's the spot that I showed you previously. We have an untested daily at 69.6175. This is technically our big major leg down here, guys. I mean, this thing is the last untested area until we make all-time highs again. I can't even believe I'm saying it out loud. I really expected us to come much, much lower. This gap was insane. And when I say much, much lower, we were down approximately 10%. I was looking for, I think it was 6K or something. Not that it matters. Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. Doesn't matter. But with that being said, who knows? We could still make that happen. So look, this is our last level right here. This is 69. As you can see, this is a massive leg here and ultimately the leg all the way down. So 69, 61.75. This is our big spot. This is also the target that we are essentially coming to right now. They are squeezing super hard to get above this. Guys, this is just to let you know, this is how it works. This is a leg, right? This is a leg. This is a leg, right? As you can see these legs, do you guys see these, right? So these are all sub legs and they each make a new low. Did you notice that? These are all sub legs inside this leg. Well, guess what? We just popped this higher area right here. We held this area right here. So now we went from basically holding this section, to now we're above this section, right, which is now untested. This is our last and final spot for this major leg down. Well, this more than likely, just looking at this chart, is going to get a reaction. I am absolutely going to short up here. Now, how big is the reaction going to be? I don't know. I can't tell you that. It could be humongous, right? But, luckily, I would say at least back to 68.83 would be my guess. I need to do a little bit more work. I pull some numbers out. You never know. It might only pull back to 69.28. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Actually, that lines up pretty nice with today's close. So pretty sweet there. I actually need to look and see. That's actually what we touched at the close. Amazing. Amazing how that stuff works. So like I was saying, this is really the area that I think we're going to come to. I think we could come to it as soon as early this week. We actually have a 4-hour level up here, as you can see. This is a major high lost. Okay, we're going to be short up here, buddy. I'm just going to tell you right now. This is going to be our spot. This is going to pay us some Lucci. I do like this area. The more and more I look at it now on the 4-hour, look how many times it's been played from the bottom up, right? We've got a spot here, dink, 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 right? And so this is going to be the next spot for us to push above, okay? Now, again, above this, we basically make new all-time highs, okay? But I do believe this will get a reaction, should bring us back to 28, which then ultimately could bring us back a little bit lower as long as we get back below 28. So, guys, we just squeezed to the bejesus today. Absolutely unbelievable. And I know that the chart looks crazy because I really wasn't expecting this kind of insane move. But I think this pretty much lays it out for everybody in here. I like the 4-hour too. It's a little bit more cleaner for everybody. So there you go. There's how it looks right now. And we're popping this support here. And so this is going to be the big spot for us to keep track of tomorrow. And again, underneath this 25 area, we're going to come back down and retest this. So I'm going to lay it out for you just like this. Just like the trade plan. There you go. That's it, guys. And honestly, we have a lot of untested stuff in here. I really like the 68.34 for the buy. We created a daily leg up at 68.34.75. We have this top down 4-hour. We have the 100-day moving average. This is a fantastic buy. I was hoping to get the opportunity to buy this tomorrow, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I disappeared and came back, and we were 75 points higher. I couldn't believe it. So unbelievable. Great day for calls. I'll say that. So with that being said, that pretty much sums up the day, guys. Super squeezy today. And listen, don't beat yourself up. I had a gentleman who hit me up who's in the room. He was all upset. He's like, oh, I saw everybody made money and I didn't. Listen, these are like the toughest days, right? Days that we don't pull back. I mean, these are just hard. You just have to trust the momentum and trust the level. And it's very difficult. And to be quite honest, I only took 2 trades today. I took a long last night and made 10 points. And I took a short today off that monthly level and made 10 points. That's all I got today. So this whole massive move, I didn't get it because we didn't pull back. And that's okay, because some days are like that. Super squeezy days. Sometimes, if you're not able to get on it, you just got to kind of let it go. And it's okay. Like, you don't have to trade every single day. And the whole reason why I didn't take a trade is because my risk was so fucked. Like, if you're constantly got to buy the high, where do you stop? Right. And so I'm uncomfortable with something like that. So for me, I always wait for the pullback. That's why I play the untested levels. That's why I play, I wait for my pull and I get my spot. And then I have a defined risk criteria, and then I can get long. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And some days are like that. And, we cannot help that, what happened here, and really just chalk it up to a Monday. You know what I mean? So we're going to get plenty of action here. We're pushing up super hard. I am curious to see where the gamma flip level is tomorrow. I do know that it was right around 69.25 yesterday, which is essentially right where we're at. If we do go into positive gamma territory, it's going to get nice and slow again. I'm telling you it is, because now we're starting to get towards the all-time highs, and things are going to get a little frothy up here as far as volume is concerned. I mean, we were in relative volume today as well. We started the day off with negative 28% relative volume. We finished at negative 14%. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I don't know what news is coming out. Let me take a look and see if we have some precursors for the morning. I hope so. Yeah, we do. We have a core PPI tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning. So I will get you the trade plan out before the bell and get everybody prepared for that. But this is going to be a fantastic review for anybody who was watching this. I mean, I'm giving you the 2 major big levels. And once again, we'll look at them before I depart. But this is essentially what you're looking at for tomorrow, guys, right here. You're looking above or below the 25, basically, and this 51 area. The daily is actually a little higher, 69, 61, 75. This is my preferred level. And then obviously below this daily at 28 or the 4 hour at 25, whatever you want to call it. So it's very textbook. It's very clear. You don't have to do a whole lot of guessing tomorrow. This is basically it. We do have a lot of support. I will tell you that they have started to gain and push above a massive amount of support, guys. I mean, I don't know if we're going to come back down. I mean, and I don't mean like ever or like just a pullback. I mean, like, this is a big freaking gap down here. Like, and I just don't know if they're going to clean it up. After last night, after they held, I anticipated this push, but my gracious, this is something else. So we will see what happens up here. It's like I said, this is really the spot that we're going to be. This is our last highest untested. Guys, this is huge. I want to show you something real quick before I get off of here. So you see this? This is what I call a high lost, okay? Massive spot, right? This is going to get a reaction. I don't care what anybody says. It will get a reaction, right? And you can see this right here. See this? High lost. What happened? Smacked it, right? And the same thing applies for here. You see what this is? A high lost. What happened? Smacked it, right? And the same thing, it continues to go over and over and over again. Kay, you're soon about to learn about all this stuff. You're going to love this. This is great stuff. Once you can see what's actually happening, it makes perfect sense. And look at it. I'm going to show you this, even on a micro level. These were big 4-hour structures that I'm showing you. But look, here's a 4-hour high loss right here. Look, bam, smacked it. Boom, gone, right? And so, again, right here, 4-hour high loss. What do we do? Smacked it. Boom, gone. Right. So these kind of things, once you understand the market mechanics, understand what to look for, that's why I'm so confident in certain areas. I'm like, I don't care what the market's doing. This is going to get a reaction. And that's why I say the 69, 51, 61 area will get a reaction. How big? I don't know. So I guess we'll have to wait until tomorrow to figure that out. So with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for conquering the markets with me today. It was amazing. And I'm so happy to be back. I hope everyone is doing their 10-day challenge packs. I sent those out to every subscriber. You guys should be about a week in by now, starting on your 3rd day of the challenge. And for anyone who is brand new and you're looking to subscribe, I challenge you to 10 days of following the trade plans. Don't do what you normally do. Only trade the trade plans and then report back to me. Tell me what you think about it. If you think that it helped you or didn't help you, I'll still give you a free week. I just want to know if you can actually follow the plan. And then give me your honest feedback. You can tell me, Ryan, the plan's shit. I hated it. I'm going to still give you a week because that's part of the challenge and you did it. So anyways, with that being said, I appreciate everyone's time and I will see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same channel for the post-market breakdown. And the trade plan will be out before the news in the morning. Cheers and have a good one.